Hey everyone, Kevin Lewis with Home Life Benchmark Titus. It's time for your February 2025 Fraser Valley Real Estate Market Update. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the Fraser Valley Real Estate stats for January 2025. We're going to take a look at the trends and take a look at what might be coming around for the month ahead. Stick around to get the full picture. Let's get straight to it and talk about one of the biggest concerns on everyone's mind, the tariffs. If they come into play, we could see another round of inflation similar to what we've been recovering from for over the past couple of years. And when we mix this in with the uncertainty in our federal leadership, amongst other economic factors, it's no surprise that January 2025 sales numbers were as low as they were. So, just how slow was the market in January 2025? Well, we saw 730 residential sales in the Fraser Valley, which is a 16% drop compared to December and a 13% drop compared to last year's January. More notably, sales were 21% lower than the 10-year average for the month. Now, I should point out that January is a bit of an odd month when it comes to total sales numbers, as we're 21% lower than the 10-year average. But in the last 10 years, we were only the fourth slowest for total number of sales. There was actually 3 years that had fewer sales than we had this last January. So we really shouldn't put too much stock into how slow the market was for that month, as things can change very quickly. While sales numbers were down, new listings were actually way up. In January, we saw 2,883 new listings, which is a 51% increase year over year and 52% above the 10-year average. Because of this, our total inventory hit a seasonal 10-year high with 5,396 homes available at the end of January. That's a 57% increase over last year. So, what does all of this mean for the market conditions? Well, we can take a look at the sales to active listing ratio, which tells us how many homes are actually selling compared to how many are listed. Or, in other terms, how many homes out of every 100 homes listed are selling in a given month. Right now, we're sitting at 14%, which is still considered a balanced market. But we can break that down further by looking at it by each property type. Detached homes came in the slowest with only 10%, putting them firmly in buyer's market territory. Condos came in at 14%, keeping them balanced, and townhomes, they just barely sneak into the seller's market territory at 20%. As we've touched on in the past, anything below 12% is considered a buyer's market, 12 to 20% is considered balanced, and anything above 20% is a seller's market. So like I say, those townhouses just barely stayed into seller's market territory. However, I really wouldn't say it feels at all like a seller's market, even in the townhouse sector. Despite the fact that we've seen the slower activity and a lot of new listings, giving us technically a buyer's market, pricing has remained relatively stable for nearly 2 years now. But the big question, of course, is will that change? And if so, when? Well, it depends on a few things. We've seen the inventory climb steadily since interest rates started increasing back in 2022. And if sales continue to lag, prices could start to slip. However, we also know there's a lot of pent up buyer demand just waiting to jump back in at the right moment. Now, we touched on inflation a little bit at the very beginning of the video, but now we're going to talk about it a little bit more here and the looming tariffs and how they could cause inflation to come back again. The thing that would be different this time around compared to the last inflation that we just dealt with is that the inflation caused by tariffs is a different type of inflation. And the way to combat that is actually to decrease interest rates in most situations. So while we're used to the last wave of inflation causing interest rates to go sky high, mortgage rates going up with it, this time, if the tariffs do come through, most analysts are predicting that we'll see rates cut even further than the Bank of Canada was currently planning to do. If mortgage rates do drop, we could see a wave of buyers entering the market taking advantage of that new rate, driving prices back up again. However, on the flip side of that, economic pressures may mean people are less willing to spend as much on housing as they were a couple of years ago, especially when it comes to everyday cost of living things having increased as much as they have over the last 2 years and the potential for them to continue to go up if the tariffs do end up happening. So, Where does that leave you if you're thinking about buying or selling in the near future? If you're considering a move, now might still be a good time to do so, depending on your situation. If inventory keeps rising and sales don't pick up, prices could soften further. As always, every situation is unique, and working with a realtor can help you make the best decision. So if you're even considering making a move in the next couple of years, let's chat sooner than later. Make sure that we can get you on the right track and really take a look at your unique situation to see if it makes sense for you to move sooner or if it makes more sense to hold off and wait to see what market conditions are going to do. I'm always open to have the discussion, and I'm always going to give you the options of what could possibly happen if we do go ahead with things sooner, or if we're going to wait behind. It doesn't matter to me when you're ready to make the move happen. It matters to you because it's your house and your money and your life. So I want to be ready whenever you are, and I want to be able to make you the most ready to be ready once the time comes. Thanks for tuning in to the market update. Be sure to like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. And until next time, take care.